The town of Black Hollow was known for its eerie past. Every Halloween, people whispered about the old Whittaker House, a Victorian mansion that had been abandoned for decades. Legends spoke of a family that had vanished overnight in 1975, leaving their dinner plates untouched and the front door wide open. On a shooting, October 31st, 2023, a group of 4 friends, Ethan, Claire, Mason, and Olivia, decided to test the legend. Armed with flashlights and a spirit box, they sneaked into the house at midnight. The air inside was thick with dust, and the walls were covered in cryptic symbols, as if someone had tried to ward off something or trap it inside. As they explored, Olivia found an old tape recorder on a rotting wooden table. She pressed play. "We shouldn't have done it. The voices, they whisper our names. We are being watched. It's in the walls. Run!" A sudden thud echoed from upstairs, then another. Footsteps. Ethan shone his flashlight toward the staircase, but the beam flickered and died. In the silence, a faint whisper slithered through the air. "Leave, before it wakes up." The words came from nowhere and everywhere at once. Claire clutched Mason's arm. "Guys, let's go, now!" But the front door, wide open when they entered, was now shut, locked. Then Olivia screamed. She pointed at the staircase. A shadowed figure stood at the top, its face obscured by darkness, but its unnaturally wide grin was visible even in the dim light. It tilted its head, and then it moved, fast. Panic set in. The group bolted toward the back door, but it slammed shut on its own. The walls went groaned. The air grew colder, and the whispers became deafening. "We should have never come here," Mason yelled. Then everything went silent. The friends stood frozen, breaths shallow as the darkness around them thickened. A voice, deep, guttural, and inhuman, spoke directly into their ears. "You're staying forever." The next morning, the police were called to Whittaker House, after reports of loud screams. Inside, they found 4 sets of footprints leading in, but none leading out. The house was empty. The only thing left behind was the old tape recorder, still playing on a loop. "We are being watched. It's in the walls. Run!" Detective James Holloway had lived in Black Hollow his entire life, and he knew the town's legends well. But this, 4 people vanishing without a trace, was different. Standing in the eerie silence of the Whittaker House, he played the recovered tape again. "We are being watched. It's in the walls. Run!" The static crackled, and then something new. A faint, distorted whisper. "They see you too, Detective." James's blood ran cold. The voice was not there before. His partner, Officer Ryan Carter, stood near the staircase examining the dust-covered floor. "James, you need to see this." James walked over and saw what Ryan was pointing at. New footprints. Barefoot, deep imprints, as if someone or something had just been standing there. James followed the prints up the stairs, gripping his flashlight tightly. The air grew thick, charged with an unnatural energy. Then the whispers started. Not from the tape, but from the walls themselves. "He's here. He's looking. He shouldn't be here." James exhaled, trying to keep his composure. "Who's here?" he called out. Silence. Then a low creaking sound. The door at the end of the hallway, slightly ajar, slowly swung open. Inside, the room was empty except for a single piece of furniture, an antique mirror covered in dust. James approached cautiously, wiping the glass with his sleeve. His own reflection stared back. Then it blinked, but James hadn't. The reflection grinned and whispered, "You should have left." The room plunged into darkness. A scream echoed through the house. By the time Officer Carter rushed upstairs, the room was empty. James Holloway was gone. The only thing left was his flashlight, flickering right in front of the mirror. And then, ever so faintly, the tape recorder crackled back to life downstairs. We are being watched. It's in the walls. Run! Officer! Ryan Carter stood frozen, staring at James's flickering flashlight on the dusty floor. His partner was now gone. Vanished, just like the four missing teenagers. A gust of cold air swept through the room, carrying a whisper that sent a chill down his spine. He's inside now, and he's watching. Ryan turned toward the antique mirror. His own reflection looked back, but something was wrong. The eyes in the reflection were slightly off, as if its son was looking through them. Then the reflection moved. Ryan didn't. The grinning version of himself in the mirror took a slow step forward, toward the glass. Closer, closer. Then, it reached out.